The terminal hums beside me, screens flickering with data streams. My fingers move over the keyboard, entering numbers into the lost model software. The system requires constant updates, and I am here to ensure that the risk assessments stay current. Outside the window, the forest canopy sways in the wind, a relentless backdrop of green and brown. The air is thick with humidity, and condensation beads on the glass, obscuring my view at times. Inside the control room, it's cool and dry, the climate carefully regulated to suit human comfort. The monitors display various sections of the extraction site: mine shafts, processing plants, housing quarters, all interconnected through a network of roads and pipelines that cut into the landscape like scars. My eyes move back and forth between screens, checking for any anomalies in the data. A sudden drop in aura quality triggers an alert on my terminal. I input the necessary parameters to adjust the model, recalibrating it to account for potential losses. The software processes the information efficiently, spitting out revised figures within seconds. Beside me, a colleague adjusts his headset and begins his daily report to headquarters. His voice is clear through the intercom system, reciting numbers and observations with practiced precision. I nod in acknowledgement as he speaks, my attention divided between him and the screens before me. The hum of machinery fills the room, punctuated by occasional bursts from ventilation units. The floor beneath my feet vibrates slightly, a low thrumming that's barely noticeable but ever present. It's a constant reminder of the operations outside, where heavy equipment moves through the earth and across the surface. I take a moment to glance at the clock on the wall. Another day in this cycle, another shift spent ensuring profitability despite environmental challenges. The routine is familiar now, each task falling into place like pieces of a well-oiled machine. My terminal beeps softly as an email arrives from logistics, requesting updated figures for the next shipment of materials. I open it and type out my response, attaching the revised data sheets before hitting send. The process repeats itself seamlessly. Data in, analysis done, adjustments made, reports sent. The window beside me is streaked with condensation, obscuring much of the view outside. With a gloved hand, I wipe away the moisture, revealing fragments of the forest landscape beyond. It's not particularly different from yesterday or the day before. Trees and sky, shifting only by degrees as the sun moves across the heavens. The terminal pings again, another alert flashing on the screen. This time it's a notification about equipment maintenance. Routine checks required to keep productivity steady. I note the details in my log and schedule a reminder for later. The system demands attention at every turn, but it also rewards compliance with efficiency and output. Hours pass without much change. Data streams update, screens flicker with new information, machines hum in their ceaseless operation. The rhythm of the day continues unbroken, each moment blending into the next as I work through my checklist. As the shift nears its end, colleagues begin to gather around me for the final debriefing. We exchange brief summaries of our findings and confirm that all systems are ready for the night shift. There's a sense of mutual understanding without much need for words. Each of us knows our roles and responsibilities too well to require lengthy explanations. The air remains thick with humidity, but it's tolerable now as I prepare to leave my station. The terminal logs out automatically, screens dimming one by one until only the faint glow of power indicators remains. I step away from the console, stretching muscles that have grown stiff over hours of sitting. Outside, the corridor is quiet, awaiting the arrival of those who will continue where I left off. I move down the hallway, my steps echoing slightly in the emptiness. As I reach the exit door, I pause for a moment, looking back into the control room one last time. The terminal glows softly, screens dark, but ready to be brought to life again with the next shift. I turn and leave, closing the door behind me, stepping out into the world outside where the cycle begins anew. Entering the maintenance bay, I follow the familiar path to my assigned station. The air hums with the constant presence of machinery, and the steady beep of monitors. My uniform fits snugly against my body, designed to protect from both the harsh elements outside and the close quarters inside. Each piece of gear feels like a second skin, integral yet unobtrusive. I begin by checking my equipment, running through the pre-shift checklist with practiced efficiency. Gloves grip tightly, ensuring dexterity without excess bulk. Visor adjusts automatically as I step closer to the work area, tinting appropriately for the ambient light levels and potential hazards. Tools hang neatly on a magnetic strip, ready for immediate use. The day's tasks are outlined clearly in my interface: system diagnostics, routine repairs, and environmental checks. There's no room for deviation. Each item is critical to maintaining operational integrity. I start with the diagnostic scans moving methodically from one module to another. Each system responds predictably under my oversight, data streams flowing smoothly across my screen. Once diagnostics are complete, I move on to repair work. A small circuit has shown signs of wear, and it needs replacement. Tools click into place as I disconnect old components and install the new ones with precision. The process is meticulous but routine, each step a familiar dance of hand and tool. Environmental checks follow, requiring me to venture outside briefly. Gear adjusts for temperature and pressure changes as I exit the station. The landscape looms around me, vibrant yet distant, its vitality kept in check by my presence and tools. Sensors on my suit monitor conditions while I inspect external systems. Any anomalies are logged instantly, ready for further attention. Returning inside, I review all collected data one last time before uploading it to central records. Satisfied with the day's work, I prepare to sign off, knowing that tomorrow will bring a new set of requirements and tasks. Exiting the bay, the hallway is quiet, except for distant echoes of other stations functioning around me. The sense of completion is tangible but brief, as responsibilities shift seamlessly from one cycle to another. My role here is clear. I am here because this work must be done. The rhythmic hum of the ventilation system is constant, each cycle blending into the next. As I move through my daily tasks, the sound becomes an unobtrusive backdrop, a familiar pulse that guides me. The air conditioning units adjust subtly to maintain temperature and humidity levels. Their low thrumming, a persistent presence in the otherwise quiet control room. The sensation of the humid air against my skin is initially noticeable, each breath carrying moisture with it. As I continue my work, however, this feeling gradually fades into insignificance. My focus shifts from the air's heaviness to the screens before me, where data streams and indicators provide a new set of priorities. Each keystroke seems to drown out the earlier awareness of humidity, leaving only the faintest trace of moisture in my perception. The distant sounds of the planet's life, whispers of wind through foliage, and occasional rustles from unseen creatures, are present but subdued. As I navigate the corridors connecting different stations, these natural noises blend into a continuous murmur, their individual sources indistinguishable. The routine of adjusting environmental controls becomes second nature, each action requiring less conscious effort. Returning to my post, the rhythmic hum of the ventilation system and the faint whispers from outside are now barely perceptible. They remain as constant companions, yet demand no more attention than the subtle flicker of a screen or the soft glow of indicator lights. The air's humidity is merely part of the background, its presence acknowledged but not remarked upon. As I review the day's data and prepare for the next cycle, my awareness narrows further to immediate tasks. The distant environmental sounds are reduced to an unnoticeable hum, a persistent yet inconsequential element in the larger picture of operational efficiency. Exiting the control room, I navigate through the dimly lit hallways where the rhythmic hum of machinery and distant echoes of nature blend together. My movements are deliberate, each step calculated to avoid disruption. Colleagues pass by in a blur, their forms merging into the seamless flow of activity. There's no need for words. Timing and positioning guide our interactions. In the central hub, Tasks await with clear parameters. I join others moving along designated paths, our actions synchronized without verbal instruction. Each person becomes part of a larger machine, roles interchangeable within the established framework. My hands move over controls, adjusting settings and monitoring data streams. The environment is indifferent to individuality. Focus remains on collective efficiency. Outside, nature's presence is ever present but unremarkable. I proceed along familiar routes with colleagues, in close proximity, yet separate. Our movements coordinated through long-established patterns. We work in harmony without acknowledgement, each role functioning as a necessary component of the whole. The ground beneath my feet and the air around me are mere conditions to navigate. Returning indoors, I resume my station, data screens flickering before me. Tasks continue seamlessly, my actions blending into the ongoing rhythm. Others move about with purposeful efficiency, their presence felt but not noticed beyond their operational contributions. In the space, individual identity fades, replaced by a shared commitment to productivity. The work itself is the binding force, each task interdependent and integral. As shifts blend into one another, my sense of self dissolves into the collective flow of labor. Responsibilities are clear, actions are automatic. This environment demands precision and continuity, where each person's role is vital yet replaceable without consequence. The hum of machines in the quiet hallways underscore a relentless routine, indifferent to individuality, but reliant on consistent performance. Closing out another cycle, I feel neither pride nor dissatisfaction. The work continues unabated, tasks awaiting the next iteration of the process. My movements are efficient, my focus unwavering. In this world, existence is defined by contribution and continuity, where the edges between individuals blur into a coordinated whole. I step into the control room, the familiar hum of machines greeting me like an old friend. Screens flicker with data, indicators blink steadily, each one a reminder of my role in this system. The air conditioning maintains a comfortable temperature, humidity barely noticeable as I settle into my station. My movements are fluid and practiced, each action a continuation from where I left off. Adjusting settings on the console, I review the latest readings without pause. The data scrolls by, patterns familiar yet constantly evolving. Each update is a minor adjustment, ensuring the system remains within optimal parameters. Colleagues drift in and out of my peripheral vision, their voices muffled and distant. Brief nods and acknowledgments pass between us, acknowledging shared responsibilities without the need for words. Our tasks are interconnected but separate, each contributing to the larger machine we operate. The environment outside is a constant presence, its sounds blending into background noise. Wind rustles through the vents, nature's rhythm barely registering beyond the hum of machinery. I focus on my console, fingers moving methodically over controls, ensuring every subsystem operates seamlessly. As I finish one set of diagnostics, another begins to take shape in my mind. The cycle is unending but predictable, each task a necessary component of the whole. There is no sense of urgency or rush. Everything moves at its own pace, guided by the rhythm of operations. Exiting the control room briefly sharpens my awareness. Walking through the quiet hallways, I feel a blend of solitude and responsibility. The environment is both a backdrop and a reminder of duties yet to be completed. Returning indoors, I review data with a sense of closure, but also an acknowledgement that this cycle will repeat. The routine feels sufficient, tasks completed without fanfare or expectation. My focus remains sharp, actions precise. There's no need for self-reflection or contemplation. Everything aligns perfectly within the operational framework. The quiet resolve in the air is comforting, a reminder that my work is essential, though unremarkable. I sit back at my station, fingers poised over controls, ready to begin another cycle of adjustments and diagnostics. The task ahead is clear, the routine familiar. Nothing feels missing or unresolved. Everything is as it should be. This is enough. The environment demands strict adherence to protocols. Each task I undertake is calibrated with precision, ensuring that the systems operate within optimal parameters. The machinery hums around me, a constant reminder of the delicate balance required for efficiency and safety. There is no room for personal whims or emotional distractions. Every action must serve the greater function without deviation. The rigidity of the system feels like an integral part of its design, rather than an imposition. It ensures that every component performs at peak capacity, minimizing waste and maximizing output. The strictness is not about control, but about maintaining stability in a complex ecosystem where variables can shift unpredictably. Each rule exists to stabilize operations under varying conditions, ensuring continuity without disruption. The need for impersonality becomes clear as I navigate through daily tasks. Personal identities are less relevant than the roles we play within this interconnected network. My focus is on executing functions seamlessly, contributing to the larger machine rather than seeking individual recognition or fulfillment. The detachment from personal emotions allows for a clearer assessment of operational needs, ensuring that every action aligns with efficiency and stability. Environmental risks are managed through rigorous monitoring and preemptive measures. The terrain outside presents challenges that must be navigated carefully, but these challenges are viewed as operational variables rather than threats. Damage is an occasional byproduct, a consequence of interacting with the unpredictable nature around us, not a failure to adhere to protocols. Every system has safety margins built in, allowing for adjustments and repairs without compromising overall functionality. The work I do here is essential because it allows this complex network to function smoothly. The strictness and impersonality are practical necessities rather than arbitrary rules. They ensure that the system remains stable and efficient, capable of adapting to changing conditions while maintaining its core objectives. This works because it has to. The structure supports the ongoing mission without room for inefficiency or deviation. The routine is a comfort in its predictability, offering a sense of security amidst the constant demands. Each shift ends with a quiet satisfaction, knowing that tasks have been completed with unwavering focus and precision. The cycle continues unremarkably but reliably, reinforcing the necessity of every step taken within this framework. There's no room for questioning or doubt. The system is what it needs to be to sustain itself in an environment where predictability is rare and adaptation is key. The calm resolve remains as I move through tasks with practiced ease, aware that my contributions are vital components in a larger machine. The detachment from personal identity allows me to see each task clearly, executing them with the precision required for uninterrupted operation. This works because it has to. The rigidity of the system ensures its stability and effectiveness, making every strict rule and impersonal interaction part of an essential operational necessity. The daily throughput of our operations here on the planet aligns meticulously with projected needs. Each unit extracted represents an intricate balance between resource yield and environmental impact metrics. Our efficiency in this process is a testament to the precision required for sustainability within the system's parameters. Our team's ability to navigate these complexities ensures that no single instance becomes burdensome. Rather, it all merges into a cohesive flow of data points and operational variables. Each task is quantified and analyzed, converting potential discomfort into abstract figures that are manageable through our established protocols. The planet itself presents as a dynamic system, with its terrain offering both challenges and opportunities. We must adapt to fluctuations in resource availability while maintaining optimal extraction rates. This adaptation is not a matter of emotional resilience, but rather an exercise in operational flexibility. Every adjustment we make refines the margin between acceptable loss and efficient yield. Our work here is predicated on minimizing waste and maximizing output, all within predetermined tolerances that safeguard long-term viability. The environment's capacity to sustain our activities is continuously monitored and adjusted for, ensuring that no singular event overshadows the overarching goal of balance. In essence, the act of counting and measuring transforms every task into a series of logical steps. It allows us to perceive each unit not as a discrete incident, but as an integral part of the larger operational framework. This abstraction facilitates a clearer focus on systemic efficiency rather than individual burdens, reinforcing our commitment to maintaining stability within the system's demands. The numbers tell the story, and they guide our actions with unwavering precision. The rhythmic hum of the machinery blends with the distant sounds of nature, a familiar melody that marks my progress. Today, the air feels slightly thicker, carrying the weight of more work ahead. The sensor readings flicker across the display, data points dancing like fireflies in the dim light of the control room. Each digit represents an increment of effort, a testament to the system's resilience. My hands move with practiced precision over the controls, adjusting settings and recalibrating variables. The feedback loop is tight, each action triggering another sequence of operations. Efficiency is paramount. Every second counts. The environmental pressure readings climb steadily, but they are merely data points, markers of productivity rather than indicators of strain. The air conditioning hums louder now, struggling to keep up with the demands placed upon it. Drops of sweat bead on my forehead, yet I see them not as discomfort, but as evidence of the system's robustness. The sensors report higher levels of particulates in the atmosphere, a sign that extraction is underway and resources are being mobilized efficiently. I adjust my posture, aligning myself with the ergonomic guidelines to minimize fatigue. Each movement is deliberate, each breath measured. The sensory inputs become secondary. They merely confirm that everything is proceeding as planned. The rhythmic pulse of the machinery synchronizes with my heartbeat, a comforting reminder of the system's harmony. The environmental strain intensifies, but it does not unsettle me. It is a natural byproduct of progress, an affirmation that our methods are effective and necessary. I review the operational logs, comparing current metrics against historical data. Patterns emerge, revealing consistent improvements in efficiency and sustainability. Each step forward brings clarity, reinforcing my commitment to the system's stability. The strain is not a barrier, but a confirmation. It means things are working as intended. My resolve solidifies, knowing that this relentless drive ensures continuity and reliability. The work continues without pause, each challenge met with precision and pragmatism. The air thickens further, an unavoidable consequence of our operations. Yet it carries no alarm. Rather, it is a sign of progress, a tangible reminder of the system's capability to adapt and evolve. My focus remains unwavering, guided by the logic that underpins everything we do. The rhythm of work becomes a soothing cadence, a confirmation that each effort contributes to the greater good. The environmental pressure readings peak momentarily before stabilizing again, signaling a temporary surge in activity. This fluctuation is normal, an expected phase in our cycle. I adjust the parameters accordingly, ensuring optimal performance and minimal disruption. The strain dissipates gradually as efficiency recalibrates, reaffirming the system's resilience. My detachment from personal discomfort allows for clear assessment of operational needs. Each adjustment aligns perfectly with functional requirements, confirming that we are on track. The sensory inputs become less intrusive, blending seamlessly into the background noise of progress. The work continues without pause, driven by necessity and reinforced by logic. The system's demands shape my actions, guiding me towards a state of unyielding dedication. Each challenge is met with precision, each obstacle overcome with pragmatism. The environmental strain serves as informational feedback, confirming that we are moving forward efficiently. In this relentless cycle of progress, I find a sense of control and stability. The sensory motifs merge into a familiar rhythm, a reminder that the system's demands are necessary for its long-term viability. My commitment to efficiency remains unwavering, knowing that each effort contributes to the greater good. The process continues smoothly, driven by necessity and guided by logic. Stress means things are working. It is an affirmation of progress rather than a source of concern. As I navigate through the dense machinery and towering structures of our base, my mind remains clear and steady. Each step forward is deliberate, guided by a precise understanding of what needs to be done. The air conditioning struggles slightly against the encroaching humidity, but it's an expected challenge that doesn't disrupt my focus. For a brief moment, I sense a flicker of hesitation, a fleeting concern about the long-term impact of our operations on this land. It's a thought that surfaces and immediately dissipates as I recall the broader context: sustainability, efficiency, and the necessity of maintaining stability for everyone involved. This base is not just a place. It's an integral part of a larger system that relies on constant, precise operation. The hesitation is corrected by my own internal logic. It's not about fear or guilt, but about recognizing what matters most: pragmatism and functionality. The land beneath us, the resources we extract, are all variables in a complex equation. They must be managed with precision to ensure that everything continues smoothly without unnecessary risks. This moment of adjustment feels like a natural part of growing more mature within the system. It's not about blind obedience, but understanding what needs to happen for everyone's benefit. Each correction aligns me better with the task at hand, reinforcing my commitment and ensuring that I remain an effective contributor. The work ahead is clear and necessary. My thoughts return to the data stream scrolling before me, each line a reminder of the critical role we play in sustaining this intricate network. The machinery continues its steady rhythm, a constant reminder of the precision required for our operations. Each task flows into the next with an unyielding logic that leaves little room for doubt or hesitation. The environmental conditions are challenging, yet they serve as markers of progress and effectiveness rather than obstacles to be overcome. My role within the system is clear. Each action I take aligns perfectly with the overarching goals of sustainability and efficiency. The necessity of our work becomes increasingly evident with each passing day, reinforcing my commitment to the task at hand. The demands placed upon us are not burdens, but challenges that demand a response rooted in practicality and logic. Any fleeting thoughts about environmental impact are quickly subsumed by the broader imperative of maintaining operational integrity. This internal alignment brings a sense of stability, ensuring that I remain an effective contributor without wavering. As the day progresses, my focus remains unwavering. The rhythm of work becomes a soothing backdrop, allowing me to approach each task with clear purpose and precision. There is no room for emotional interference. Every action serves a logical end. This clarity brings a sense of calm, not relief, but a settled conviction that our efforts are necessary and correct. The day draws to a close, leaving behind the familiar hum of machinery and the quiet resolve of a job well done. The work ahead is clear, the path forward marked by a relentless adherence to logic and necessity. In this environment, correctness replaces uncertainty, ensuring that my role within the system remains both essential and unshakable. My mind is steady and focused as I proceed through the familiar routine. The rhythmic hum of machinery blends with the natural sounds around me, marking my progress. Each action remains precise, driven by the need for efficiency, but there's a subtle shift in how smoothly these tasks unfold. The environmental pressure climbs incrementally, thickening the air slightly. This is not unexpected. It merely signals that our work here has a tangible impact. I adjust my breathing and continue without pause, guided by logic and commitment to the system's stability. Personal discomfort remains minimal, fading into insignificance as each challenge is met with pragmatism. Today, however, there is an extra step required in calibrating the machinery. The usual protocols feel slightly off, demanding a moment of reevaluation before proceeding. This minor adjustment, though necessary for precision, introduces a slight delay. It doesn't disrupt my focus, but adds a layer of complexity to what once felt routine. As I move through the task list, similar instances arise. A tool needs an additional inspection, or a system requires recalibration mid-operation. These small deviations are not errors, merely signs that the environment is changing subtly and consistently. Each adjustment takes more time and attention than usual, yet they align with the evolving demands of our surroundings. The work feels necessary and good, contributing to long-term viability. The sense of purpose remains strong, but now there's an undercurrent of effort. Each task requires a bit more mental calculation and physical maneuvering to ensure everything stays on track. Environmental feedback becomes harder to abstract away. The thickening air and increased pressure are no longer merely background noise, but require active management. This interference is not disruptive, but demands closer attention, reinforcing my dedication to maintaining operational integrity despite these minor challenges. The clarity I once felt in the seamless execution of tasks now comes with a layer of complexity. Each action aligns strictly with logical imperatives, fostering a sense of stability and resolve. Yet there is an undeniable strain that requires conscious effort to navigate. This friction feels like growing pains rather than obstacles, pushing me to adapt without losing sight of my commitment. The work ahead is clear and necessary, reminding me of the critical role we play in sustaining this intricate network. Each adjustment made with care ensures that I remain a precise and effective contributor to the system's long-term viability. As I review today's sensor readings, there's a noticeable divergence from my projections. The atmospheric density has climbed again, just as predicted, but the accompanying pressure levels are lower than expected based on standard calculations. My initial reaction is to recalibrate the inputs. Perhaps there was an error in data collection or transmission. Yet, when I cross-reference with recent adjustments and historical trends, the deviations persist. I step outside to confirm my suspicions manually. The air feels heavier, thicker. It's harder to breathe deeply, and my movements are slower than usual. But the pressure gauge on my wrist shows a slight decrease rather than an increase. It's disconcerting, but not entirely unexpected. After all, these systems are living entities that can fluctuate based on their internal states. I run simulations again, adjusting variables for temperature, humidity, and even biotic activity levels. The models still don't align with the physical reality I'm experiencing. My environment is behaving in ways my current frameworks cannot fully explain or predict. It feels like a map no longer matches the ground beneath my feet. Every detail on paper seems off when compared to what's actually happening. The inconsistencies nag at me, but I push through them, focusing instead on practical adjustments needed for today's tasks. Each action now requires more thought and effort. Even simple maintenance checks demand heightened awareness. The strain is growing, not just from the external conditions, but also from the mental labor of trying to reconcile what my instruments tell me with what I encounter. I make notes about these discrepancies, adding them to the backlog for further analysis later. For now, practical concerns take precedence. Yet, as I proceed, a creeping sense of unease begins to set in. The world around me is becoming harder to understand and control, no longer fitting neatly into the categories and models that once made it predictable. Despite this, I continue my work with determination. Each task completed reaffirms my commitment to maintaining operational integrity, even as reality becomes increasingly complex and unpredictable. Yet the nagging feeling of something slipping through the cracks remains, a persistent reminder that the systems here are far more dynamic and perhaps less controllable than I initially thought. The air feels heavier, more tangible with each breath. I can sense the density pressing against my lungs, making every inhale a deliberate act of will. My fingers are sluggish on the controls, each movement requiring more focus than before. The thick atmosphere seems to sap energy from me, leaving behind a persistent hum that resonates in my ears. Despite this, I continue with my tasks, methodically checking and rechecking systems. But there's an underlying tension now, a constant background noise that distracts even as it fades into the periphery. It's like trying to hold water in cupped hands. The harder you try, the more it slips away. The pressure inside is not just external. My thoughts feel encumbered, each decision slower and more deliberate. I notice small inconsistencies. The hum of machinery that was once steady now fluctuates subtly. A rhythm barely discernible but increasingly unsettling. The air thickens further, making it harder to concentrate on anything for too long. Yet, I persist, driven by the need to maintain stability. Every adjustment feels crucial. Every recalibration, an affirmation of control. But there's this nagging presence that refuses to be ignored. It's as if the environment itself is whispering doubts, a persistent murmur that gnaws at my resolve without ever breaking it. I feel a growing discomfort, not in the sense of alarm, but in the way that small inconveniences accumulate into something more profound. The air presses against me with a relentless insistence, and I find myself pausing to take deep breaths, to steady my hands, to clear my mind of this insistent noise. Despite the strain, there's still a sense of accomplishment in managing these challenges. Each moment of focus reaffirms my commitment, but it's becoming harder to ignore the underlying unease that accompanies them. The world feels more complex and less predictable with each passing second, and I find myself increasingly aware of this shift even as I work to mitigate its effects. The hum grows louder, not in intensity, but in persistence. It's a constant companion now, an uninvited guest that refuses to be silenced. And yet, I push forward, driven by the need for stability amidst the growing uncertainty. I keep reminding myself that every breath here requires conscious effort. It's a matter of survival, plain and simple. The air thickens with each passing moment, making respiration more demanding. Yet, I know the system is designed for this, built to withstand such conditions. Every inhalation is a testament to its resilience. Pressure builds steadily, and my focus narrows accordingly. Each task feels like an intricate puzzle that needs solving, piece by piece. It's not just about doing. It's about understanding why each action is necessary. I repeat the logic in my head. The environment demands attention, but we are equipped to handle it. The discomfort lingers, a constant companion that doesn't let up. But with every repetition of purpose and rationale, I find the strength to carry on. It's like a mantra, a repeated assurance that sustains me through the strain. The system is sound. It has always been reliable. I can feel the weight of uncertainty creeping in, but I push it back. Each breath, each task reaffirms my commitment. The logic holds firm only when actively reinforced. Every time I remind myself why this matters, the grip tightens. It's a cycle now. Breathe, think, act, repeat. The world around me shifts subtly, and with each shift, I recalibrate. There's no room for doubt. There's only the necessity of persistence. The tension is ever present, but it's manageable when I keep reminding myself why this is essential. It's not just about surviving, it's about maintaining stability, ensuring that everything continues to function as intended. The air grows heavier still, and my movements become more deliberate. Each step requires a thought, each breath, a conscious effort, but logic remains clear. We are built for endurance. We adapt and overcome. I repeat this to myself with each passing moment, reinforcing the necessity of every action. This is how it must be. The strain is real, but so is the resolve. Every time I remind myself why we persist, it becomes clear that the system endures through active defense. It's a continuous loop, understand, act, affirm. Each repetition strengthens the resolve. Each breath confirms the strength of our design. The world remains complex and unforgiving. Yet, every challenge only solidifies my commitment to stability. I must keep explaining this to myself because it holds true. No matter how strained the effort becomes, we are designed for resilience. The air feels thicker with each passing moment, demanding more effort to breathe deeply. Every task requires careful thought and meticulous attention. There's no room for error or distraction. The environment around me shifts subtly, adding layers of complexity that I must navigate with precision. I focus on the routine tasks, breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps. Each action is deliberate, methodical, a dance of survival and maintenance. Despite my best efforts to maintain order, there's a persistent hum beneath it all, an unease that lingers like an unresolved question. The world outside seems to pulse with its own rhythm, challenging my understanding of stability. I adjust and adapt, reinforcing the structures that hold everything together. Yet, each adjustment feels provisional, contingent on constant vigilance. My mind strains against the mounting complexity, searching for patterns in the chaos. Each breath is a reminder of the delicate balance I must maintain. The sense of calm comes from knowing that every action counts, but it's punctuated by an undercurrent of tension and doubt. I push through the discomfort, driven by a commitment to the system's integrity. Every small victory feels like a reaffirmation of my resolve, yet the nagging presence of uncertainty remains ever present. It whispers softly in the back of my mind, reminding me that equilibrium is fragile and conditional. As I continue with my tasks, the sense of stillness gives way to vigilance. The world demands constant attention, each breath and movement a testament to endurance. Stability is upheld through relentless effort, but there's no room for rest or respite. The air grows heavier, and the environment presses in around me. Yet, I persist, guided by purpose and logic, maintaining the delicate balance with every fiber of my being. The air thickens further, each breath a deliberate effort. My lungs strain with the increased density, making even simple tasks more laborious. I notice a persistent cough developing, a physical manifestation of the growing environmental stress. The machinery around me hums louder, demanding constant attention to ensure it operates within tolerable limits. My movements become slower and more calculated. Each keystroke is measured, every decision weighed with meticulous care. Errors in my work are less frequent, but require more time to correct. The world feels like a puzzle where each piece must fit perfectly, yet the pieces shift and change without warning. The building's interior begins to show signs of wear. Small cracks appear on the walls, and the floors creak underfoot with a new intensity. These physical manifestations of strain are not abstract. They demand attention in concrete ways. I repair them when possible, but acknowledge that these repairs only delay further degradation. My eyes notice subtle changes in the environment beyond the immediate tasks at hand. The landscape outside is visibly altered, with fewer green areas and more barren patches. Nature's resilience wanes, and its cycles no longer provide the consistent support they once did. I document these observations without emotion, recognizing them as data points that inform ongoing adjustments. Mental fatigue accumulates alongside physical strain. My thoughts move in slower patterns, each connection taking longer to form. Despite this, my commitment remains steadfast. Each task completed is a reaffirmation of control and stability. The nagging uncertainty persists, but it does not dominate. I manage it through methodical action and unwavering focus. The environment's decline becomes more apparent with every passing day, yet each outcome is acknowledged as a reality to be managed rather than an anomaly to be ignored. My resolve hardens, and my actions become more deliberate. The world may shift unpredictably, but I continue to adapt, maintaining operational integrity through relentless effort. The day starts with the same routine. Check the systems, assess the damage from the night before. The machinery hums a familiar tune, but it's a lullaby now tinged with dissonance. I notice cracks in the walls that weren't there yesterday. They stretch like fine lines across my skin, reminders of time's relentless passage. The air is thick with dust, settling in layers on everything. It clings to my hair and clothes, making me feel heavy, weighted down by more than just fatigue. The machinery requires constant attention. I can't afford to miss a single warning sign. There are moments when I think about the impossibility of it all, how there's no turning back, no going forward either. And yet here I am. I move through the facility with mechanical precision, my body remembering each step like an old friend. The repairs take longer than usual. Parts wear out faster now. There's a sense of inevitability in every malfunction, but I don't dwell on it. Fixing them is all that matters for now. The environment outside shows more signs of decay. Trees are sparse and the ground is barren. It feels as though nature itself is giving up, retreating from this place where everything seems to be breaking down. The sky's a dull gray, reflecting the mood inside me. I document each repair meticulously, filling out forms that will never see use beyond my own eyes. Numbers and figures become abstract markers of time spent, efforts made. They are the only constants in a world defined by change. My muscles ache with the weight of every task completed. There's no glory in this work, just necessity. Each small victory is overshadowed by the knowledge that it won't last long. But I keep going because stopping isn't an option. Not here, not now. The hours blur together into a relentless cycle. My mind wanders briefly to thoughts of what could have been different, but they don't linger. There's no point in asking why or how things got this way, only in doing the next thing that needs doing. As night falls, I make my rounds one last time before retreating to my quarters. The facility is quiet now, the hum of machinery reduced to a distant whisper. Sleep doesn't come easily. It feels like an indulgence when there's still work to be done, but rest is necessary if I'm to continue. Tomorrow will bring more tasks, more repairs, and another day of trying to keep everything from falling apart. For now, I'll let myself drift into a fitful sleep, knowing that tomorrow will come whether I want it to or not. The weight of each step feels heavier than the last. The machinery hums with a dull monotony, its rhythms familiar but unsettling in their predictability. Dust clings to everything, thick and persistent, as if the air itself is reluctant to let go of its burden. I wipe my brow, leaving streaks of grime on my skin that quickly dry into a dark paste. The walls crumble with each passing day, exposing more fragile infrastructure beneath. Repairing them feels like patching leaks in a sinking ship. There's no way to stem the tide completely, only to slow it down enough for now. I document each repair meticulously, noting every fracture and crack with an eye that sees but does not judge. There is no point in lamentation, only in action. The machinery demands constant attention, its parts wearing down faster than they can be replaced. The supply chains have long since broken, leaving me to improvise with whatever materials I can find. Each makeshift fix is a testament to resilience, yet also a reminder of the inevitable failure that waits beyond it. I know this dance well by now. Stave off collapse for as long as possible. Sleep feels like an indulgence I cannot afford, but must nonetheless seek out in brief intervals. The mind needs rest to function, even if only marginally better after waking than before sleeping. Each dream is a fleeting respite from the reality of decay, but upon awakening, the dull ache of resignation returns immediately. I've grown accustomed to this relentless cycle, my body and spirit adapting to a new baseline of exhaustion and uncertainty. The environment reflects my state, dusty, broken, and yet still moving forward in some inexplicable way. I continue because it is what must be done, not out of hope for change, but from an unyielding sense of duty. In the silence between repairs, I sometimes think about what might have been different if circumstances had aligned differently. But such thoughts are fleeting and pointless. The machinery hums on, indifferent to my musings, and so do I. There is no leverage here, only the stubborn insistence of continued function. The machinery hums with an unyielding monotony, each rhythmic cycle a reminder of the relentless passage of time. The air is thick with dust, settling in layers that obscure vision and clog lungs. Each breath feels like a chore, yet it's essential for survival. My movements are sluggish, muscles protesting every action, but there's no option to rest. Sleep is a fleeting respite, offering temporary relief from the constant strain. Every repair is a dance with inevitability. The machinery breaks down predictably, demanding attention at irregular intervals. Each fix feels like sanding down the sharp edges of an endless cycle. Tools are worn and rusted, but they still serve their purpose for now. I document every repair meticulously, knowing that tomorrow will bring more need for intervention. The walls around me crumble bit by bit, each fragment a testament to the inexorable decay. The environment is indifferent, as if mocking my efforts with its relentless decline. But there's no room for mockery here, only action. Each day brings new challenges, and I rise to meet them without question. There's no grand purpose in these tasks, just a series of small, necessary steps. The system demands continuation, not correction. The more I try to repair the obvious flaws, the more complex the machinery becomes. It's as if the act of fixing introduces new points of failure. Stability is maintained through adherence to routine, not through innovation or change. Any deviation from this path only complicates matters further. Sleep offers brief moments of clarity, but upon waking, reality asserts itself once again. The hum of the machines and the dust-filled air are constants that cannot be ignored. There's no comfort in these surroundings, just a stark reminder of what must be done. Each day is an exercise in repetition, where the only measure of success is maintaining functionality. The weight of fatigue presses down heavily, but there's no room for resistance. I move through the motions with mechanical precision, driven by necessity rather than hope. The system favors continuation over correction, and any attempt to alter this course only compounds the issues at hand. Each repair brings a momentary sense of accomplishment, yet it's overshadowed by the inevitability of failure. Duty compels me forward, not because there is joy in it, but because stopping is no longer an option. The cycle continues, indifferent and relentless, and I am a part of it. There are alternatives, perhaps, in theory, but they offer no refuge from the reality of this moment. Each day merges into the next, marked by the steady hum of machinery and the unyielding dust. This is how systems move. This is my life now. The dust settles thickly around me, a constant companion in this crumbling space. Each breath brings particles that cling to my skin and clothes, a reminder of the relentless progression of decay. I move through the day with mechanical precision, performing repairs on machines that seem to defy any hope of permanence. The walls crumble bit by bit, but each repair is a ritual, a familiar dance that offers no respite from the inevitable. I sleep fitfully, my dreams providing temporary relief from the harsh reality that greets me upon waking. Each morning I wake up in the same place with the same duties awaiting me. There is no escape from the cycle of maintenance and deterioration. The machinery hums indifferently as I go about my tasks, a constant reminder of the unchanging status quo. The environment around me is indifferent to my efforts. It continues its slow decay without pause or pity. Yet, despite this futility, there is an acceptance that comes with each passing day. Each repair, each adjustment, becomes a familiar routine. The weariness I feel no longer carries any urgency. It's simply part of the background noise. I continue because there is nothing else to do. There are no alternatives, only the relentless cycle of maintaining functionality in an environment that shows no signs of improvement. The machinery and structures around me are relics of a time when stability was possible, but now they serve merely as symbols of what once was and what can never be again. I document each repair meticulously, noting the gradual decline with detachment. It's not out of apathy, but rather an acceptance that my efforts will always be reactive. The system I operate within has adapted to this new reality, and so have I. Each day feels like a repetition of the last, yet there is no room for deviation from the path set before. The dust accumulates, the walls crumble, and the machines hum indifferently. This is how things are now. Weariness settles in like an old friend, familiar and unavoidable. Each day merges seamlessly into the next, marked only by the tasks that need completion. Dust clings to my skin, embedding itself beneath layers of sweat and grime. The air is thick with silence, broken intermittently by the hum of machinery, the constant heartbeat of a dying system. Repairs are routine now, mechanical in their execution. I move through them without thought, hands moving to familiar grooves and clicks. Each part replaced, each wire reconnected, offers a momentary sense of order amidst chaos. Yet as quickly as it arrives, the satisfaction dissipates into the crumbling walls around me. Sleep is a brief respite, a sliver of peace before reality returns. Waking up feels like stepping back into a relentless current that drags me forward without pause. I document the decay meticulously, entries in a log that no one will ever read. The words are precise, devoid of emotion, just facts and observations. The environment is indifferent, a landscape of broken dreams and faded hope. Every step leaves marks on dust-covered floors. Each breath stirs clouds that settle once more. There is no need to question why or how. It simply is. I adapt, not out of choice, but necessity. The cycle continues without room for deviation, anchored by duty and the unyielding passage of time. Machinery hums its steady rhythm, a constant companion in this silent world. Each beep and whir signals another day's progress, yet it offers no comfort. Instead, it reinforces acceptance, the quiet understanding that change is impossible and effort futile. Yet I persist, driven by something deeper than hope or despair, by the unbreakable chain of daily tasks. Dust gathers anew with each passing moment, a stark reminder of relentless decline. But within this monotony lies a strange peace, a life lived inside settled results, where continuation is procedural, not reflective. The world around me crumbles, but my routine remains intact, a stubborn thread in the fabric of inevitability. The day begins with the same routine. I wake to the steady hum of machinery, a constant companion in the silence that surrounds me. Dust motes dance in the dim light filtering through cracked screens and fractured walls. The air is cool against my skin as I rise from my bed. I dress without thought, pulling on familiar clothes that fit like an old story. Each item feels worn by time, but they serve their purpose today just as they did yesterday. Shoes clink softly against the floor as I move to the kitchen area. There's a small cluster of supplies here, enough for another day's sustenance. I prepare what little food remains, its taste familiar yet dull. After eating, I make my way to the workstation. The machines are ready, their circuits and wires a tangled web of purpose. I run diagnostics as usual, watching screens flicker with data that means nothing more than it did yesterday. Results are recorded without fanfare. There is no need for excitement or disappointment here. Later, maintenance checks take up my time. Tools are laid out methodically on the workbench, each one used precisely where needed. The environment around me crumbles bit by bit. These tasks must be done. I repair what can still function and record what cannot, following protocols that feel like a distant echo of order. Evening approaches with its own set of duties, cleaning up after myself, ensuring the space remains habitable for another day. Dust is swept into corners where it will stay until tomorrow's chore. The room settles into shadow as I lie down again, closing my eyes to wait out the night. Dreams are sparse and fleeting, thoughts drift aimlessly before waking once more to the same hum of machinery. Each day feels like a mirror image of the last, yet there is comfort in this sameness. Movement persists, because movement must continue. The hum of machinery fills the air, a constant reminder of the relentless cycle. I wake up and begin my day with the same routine I've followed for countless days. Check systems, document readings, perform maintenance. Each task is familiar, a series of motions that no longer require thought. The silence outside contrasts sharply with the steady drone within. I don't think about why or how. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is doing what needs to be done. I move through the narrow corridors, my footsteps echoing slightly in the quiet space. Dust settles lightly on surfaces, a testament to time's passage, but it does not disturb me. Cleaning it is another task for later. The room where I spend most of my time is small and functional, with screens displaying data that shifts slowly from one reading to another. The information is recorded meticulously in logs, each entry adding to the long list of identical entries before it. There is a sense of purpose in this, even if the purpose itself has no greater meaning. I sit at the terminal, fingers moving over the keyboard with practiced ease. Each keystroke feels like a heartbeat, marking time rather than conveying emotion. The data flows, and I process it, storing it away where it belongs. There's comfort in this rhythm, a sense of order that offers a semblance of control. When my tasks are completed for the day, I retreat to my living quarters. Sleep comes easily, a peaceful respite from the constant hum of existence. Dreams do not visit. There is only darkness and quiet until it's time to wake again. The world outside remains indifferent, but here, within these walls, life continues in measured steps. Each day follows the last without deviation, and I find solace in this consistency. There's a strange peace in knowing that what must be done will be done, regardless of the broader implications or outcomes. This is my reality now, and it feels both empty and full at the same time. The hum of machinery resumes as I wake once more, ready to begin another day of routine tasks. Each day unfolds with the same precision as the last. The hum of machinery fills the air, a constant backdrop to my actions. I move through tasks without thought, each step following the one before in an unbroken chain. There's no joy in these motions, nor any real frustration. They simply are. I document everything meticulously, entries filled with facts and figures, devoid of sentiment or reflection. The pages stack up, a record of time passing rather than events occurring. Each page turns like the hands on a clock, marking progress but not change. The environment around me is silent, dust settling over surfaces that once gleamed under cleaner air. There is no urgency to clean or repair. I continue, as if the silence and stillness are normal parts of my world. The machinery operates smoothly despite its age, each part fitting together like a well-oiled mechanism. Sleep offers moments of respite, but waking brings me back to this familiar routine. Dreams slip away with morning light, leaving no trace behind. There's comfort in knowing what lies ahead, a series of actions to be completed without question or hesitation. I find solace in the predictability, in the way each day mirrors the last. It feels safer than grappling with uncertainty, easier than searching for meaning where there is none. The world around me may be crumbling, but within these walls, everything functions as it should, just differently now. There's a strange peace in this sameness, a quiet acceptance of what cannot be changed. Each task completed brings a sense of accomplishment, not because it matters, but simply because it needs to be done. The days blend together, like the pages in my logbook, each entry indistinguishable from the next, yet essential to the whole. This is my reality now, a world where loss has been replaced by routine, where emptiness finds its home in repetition. There's no room for reflection or regret, only action and completion. I rise to check on the machinery, my movements as mechanical as ever. The room is dimly lit, and the hum of the machines fills the air. I run through the checklist, noting each system's status without any emotional attachment. There are no alarms or errors today, just the steady pulse of functioning technology. The environment feels like a vast, silent expanse. Dust gathers where it can, but there's little to disturb the routine here. Each day is indistinguishable from the last. Yet, I find comfort in the familiarity. The tasks are mindless, and that's what they offer. A sense of purpose without the weight of expectation. I sit down to document the day's observations, my notes precise and devoid of any unnecessary detail. Writing becomes a ritual, a way to occupy the space between moments. There is no grand narrative here, just a series of events recorded in a sterile fashion. The words flow effortlessly, each entry another mark on an endless timeline. I finish documenting and move to clean up the workspace. Dusting off the equipment feels like a minor victory, a small act of order amidst the chaos. It's not that I expect things to change, it's simply what needs doing today. Each action is performed with meticulous care, but there's no joy in completion. The day winds down, and I prepare for sleep. The room becomes darker as night falls, and silence envelops me once more. Sleep offers a temporary respite from the monotony, yet even dreams feel like extensions of this reality. A place where nothing changes and everything remains constant. I close my eyes and drift into sleep, the world outside continuing to exist without me. When I wake, the cycle will begin again, each day mirroring the last in its endless repetition. There is no need for reflection,